All right, guys. So I want to thank Coach Brody for coming in today, and I want to thank Coach Dave for coming back. We're going to change the format a little bit on this. We're going to do shorter podcasts, kind of like a 20, 25 minute, so we can blow out more, because I know it's been a while since the last one. Today, we had a great question during the week. It was about just scaling, and it was about an athlete had talked to me and said, what do I do if I'm feeling beat up that day? Like, is it still cool to come in and work out and maybe scale the workout? And I thought, two veterans here, we could sit, we could talk about it, give some good advice, and just see where they are on it. And we haven't talked about this before this, so I don't know who's going to say what or whatever. But, throw it out there. So, I mean, Brody, what do you think? You've been doing this a long time.
So my theory on it is, and you have to listen to your body. Like, if something hurts bad, then, maybe don't use it with as much force or, the intensity. But I think you still need to move, I think that moving is a critical part of just getting the blood flowing. And if I'm super sore, the better, I come in and I'll just do like some Aerodyne stuff or some Roman stuff just to get the blood flowing. 99.9% of the time, I will feel 1,000 times better, after the fact. And not that I have to do some bone crusher workout, but that's really.
But you'll move around.
Move around, 100%. And moving is vital. The body in motion stays in motion.
So what happens when you stop moving?
It's the machine breaks down. At least for me, I never can stop. Yeah.
I mean, have you guys always been like that though?
No, I haven't always been like that.
I mean, did you always kind of listen to your body? At what stage did you start listening to your body?
When I got, the first time I got the late onset muscle soreness.
Okay.
I was, when 2 days after the workout, I was like, shit, this hurts.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do I do? I could stop, or I could do something. And sometimes something for me was just maybe some mobility.
Yeah.
Coming in, doing that. And even in a workout, you could do that. Maybe instead of front squats, you just do air squats. You do everything unloaded.
What I find is what mobility is like. We all talk about it, but it's like the hardest thing to get people to do because it's not fun.
No.
It's not fun. But, I mean, I have noticed, you've upped your mobility big time over the years, and you think about it more, I think. Before we would talk about mobility, and you were like, yeah, but, now I occasionally, and you take it more seriously where you see Danny when you need to, right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, before, that was a big step, right?
Danny got to open that up for sure.
So, I mean, doing mobility helps scaling down. So what does scaling down look like for you guys? Let's say it's a workout and it's wall ball, cleans, and double unders, and your shoulders are jacked up. I mean, at your levels, would you come in? Here's the thing, and this is why we're bringing it up, is some people they want to write RX next to their name all the time, right? And I get it, but it's not always the best move. And if the choice is don't work out or go in and maybe bring the weight down, what does that look like for you guys? I mean, have you ever scaled a workout?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Of course.
All right.
100%.
So let's just get that out there.
Every week. Every day.
All right. Well, a lot of people don't think that or know
that. A lot
that.
of times that I didn't scale and I wish I did. That's 100%. I regret it.
It's like those bad choices where you went RX Plus and you were like, this was a bad day for that.
But that snatch one, I was like, there's no way I'm doing it. We had one this week where RX
the snatch
Plus
row one. That was fun, right?
do it unbroken. I was like, no.
How far did you get before?
I did from the beginning. I was like, I'm not doing this. I want to save my thighs. I mean, no offense, coach.
No, it's fine. But I mean, that's what we're talking about. Is a lot of clients and a lot of different athletes in the gym that they just. All right, look, if you train Monday, Tuesday, I train Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then I have to take the weekends off. It's just the family thing. When you do 5 on, your body's jacked up. And there's no way. Friday's horrible for me. Fridays and Mondays are horrible. Monday's hard to get going again after resting for 2 days, and then Fridays are hard because I haven't taken a rest day in 4 days. So there's no way my Fridays are as intense as my Tuesdays. Tuesday is a great day because I feel like I'm moving well. I'm also a little older. But, so people have to kind of take that into consideration.
Sure.
We used to joke and say it was rest day Wednesday, right? Remember that?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Well, then it kind of changed to rest day Thursday.
Yeah.
But now, I don't really see Thursdays slowing down either. Thursdays have been pretty decent. So some people will train a lot, a whole lot. Do you need to take a rest day?
Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. Right?
How many rest days would you say would be a good amount? Now, I know the CrossFit equation, but I mean, this is stuff we don't always talk about.
I try to stick by 3 on, 1 on, 2 on 1 off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
3 1 2
3
1.
1 2 1.
That's what I do in a
At least
week.
2 days,
2 days,
2
right?
Days, depending on, and you got to listen to your body.
Yeah.
Again, that's a huge part.
I think two's two's great.
Yeah.
But I think too many rest days, like, I don't know about you guys, but the way my body works is if I rest too long, like say I go away or something, everything starts hurting.
Brutal.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
I get messed up.
You know I travel a lot.
Yeah.
And so I kind of have rest days, but they're more like 100 push-ups in my hotel day. You know?
I don't know if that's really a rest
Is that
day.
a rest day? It's not a rest day.
I mean,
but
for somebody, but
I know.
that's
but,
crazy.
You know, but
But you want to keep moving, so in your head, you're like, I'm going to do something so I don't feel like I'm falling off.
Exactly.
So, like, for you, 100 push-ups is a rest day.
Yeah. Just
All right.
chilling in my hotel room.
But, I mean, I think we all agree that rest days are important,
Yeah.
and people feel better when they get them in. Too many rest days aren't necessarily the best thing. What I've been seeing a lot of lately is, like, if people are like, I'm trying to catch people, and I know you guys do the same thing, it's like if somebody comes in, man, my shoulders are sore today. They're not hurt. They're just sore. They're tired. I try and take that into consideration. I try and talk them into either bringing the weight down or bringing the reps down right away.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that we can do that. But as coaches, like, you guys can all do that. You could change the workout any way you need to make the client happier.
100%.
You guys ever done that?
Yeah. You know, so again, I keep taking that workout as a...
The snatch
As
row
an
one?
example, yeah.
You know, I have to say I was very proud of that
I
workout.
love that
so-
workout. Well, and that's why... So it was 50 calories row, and then after you need to do 5
It
snatches.
was
that
a
were
5-minute
relatively
workout,
heavy.
so it was 50-calorie row. Then with the rest of your time, you had a snatch. 5 snatches, but every time it went up every round.
Uh-huh.
Gotcha.
So
People were struggling with the 50 calories is a lot, and even
50
for women it
calories
was
was a lot.
35.
Sure.
and in
So-
the morning, I felt bad for them because I had to have them get it in 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah,
So, like, Pat and some of my big rowers, like, they were getting it every time, but they were working hard
of
for
course.
it.
But people who are struggling, I put like time caps on stuff a lot of
Perfect.
time.
Perfect.
Say, hey, if you can't get 50, then row for 3 minutes and 30 seconds and get off no matter where you are. Stuff like that.
Perfect. So, I mean, would you say it's therapeutic to keep moving and do things at a lesser weight rather than not to work out?
Be in the game.
Be in the game.
Don't take yourself out. That's ridiculous. That's a very all or nothing type mentality, and that's not
Yeah, and you're not
know.
going to get more fit that way either.
not at all. No.
What about, let's say, double unders? I want to learn double unders. How long did it take you to learn double unders?
I had to make a commitment to excellence.
Do you actually remember how long it took you?
It took me a long ass time, but
What's a long time for you?
I don't know.
You're a
It
long
was like
time and my
months.
long time
It was
are
like
months.
like
Okay.
6, 8 months.
6 to 8
right?
months. That's pretty
But
good.
it was me like in the tunnel
Sure.
every day.
Yeah.
Well,
like,
we'll get to
focusing
that.
on it.
What about you? Do you remember how long it took
It
you?
probably took me 9 months.
Okay.
Like out jumping backwards in the parking lot in the old place.
Oh, remember that?
Yeah, oh, dude.
Jumping
forever.
back, you were back.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
Oh, dude, it was
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I had
He
long
had a whole
hair, so I
system
had-
of that.
Oh, it was crazy, crazy. But it was. I tell everybody every time we do double unders, I'm like, listen, these are not easy, and it takes time to learn them. And what I tell them is like, it took me to warm up before the workout to do them. Do them
Oh,
in the
you
workout,
used to have a whole routine.
and then after the workout, I would end it with that, and that's how I would cool down. And I don't even know how much of a cool down that is, but it was one of those things that, like, it was methodical, and I did it every day until
I
got
can actually give some feedback on this. He was like a Zen master. I'm not even joking because
Sounds
like
right.
he had his whole system. Now here's what was screwing him up: a seam on the mat, like
Oh,
going the
dude,
wrong
still.
way.
Still, like, if it crosses, it's
Or when
bad.
we were at the front of the building, like he had to point certain directions in a workout. If he
At
pointed the
focal
wrong way,
points. Yeah.
I don't remember whether you looked at the cars or not the cars, but
but
the
it's
street.
brutal.
But it was great. But I mean, everybody's got that like you have tools that you learn, right? It took me 2 years.
Wow.
Legit, 2
Really?
years. Yeah, because
Well, you taught everything yourself. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't have
Back
everybody
then,
teaching me,
yeah.
so it was just me. I learned them in 11.1.
Wow.
The
Oh.
first open workout, I was like psyched. I was like, here we go, the CrossFit Open. First time I'm going to do the Open. It's never been done before. And double unders come up. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I don't have double unders. And I sat in that parking lot, and I just kept doing double. And then 2 days later, right before the cutoff, they clicked. And they didn't click great. I clicked like 10.
Yeah.
So that's huge.
8,
That's
10,
huge. That's
8,
huge.
you know. But, I mean, I was 2 years of practicing.
Yeah.
But I also didn't know what I was doing wrong. I didn't know what I was doing. That's why I laugh when people now are like, man, it takes me forever to learn double unders. I'm like, how long? They're like, man, it took me like 3 months. I'm like, please.
How dare you?
But, I mean, what I'm trying to say is, like, with the double under or with any high-level skill, like, it takes work.
Yeah.
But it also takes strength. And we talked about this in another podcast, but a lot of people don't realize that even on a double under, I would say that it takes a certain level of strength, core strength, right?
Sure.
To stay tight
Just
in
to
that
be able to
position,
just
right?
be engaged for that long and just.
Because have you guys ever seen? And I'm calling out some people in the gym, but like there's some people that walk in the door and they don't know what a double under is, and that day they're doing double unders.
Yeah.
And that melts my brain. But it's not pretty, but they're doing it, and it's amazing. But if you look, the biggest thing I notice is that they can't keep their core tight yet.
Okay.
So they kind of drift around a lot. Their feet are up and down, and then as they develop and they get stronger, all that kind of locks in. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that require practice but require strength to do.
Sure. And then when you get tired, I mean, if you don't have shoulder strength,
No.
you know.
No, and the big thing I've been talking about a lot is trying to keep that tighter position here because people keep going out to that cross position, and that's where we're seeing injuries and things like that. So can you think of anything that you've done other than like high level like muscle ups and things like that, things that have taken a lot of effort and how you went about it?
Oh, pistols.
Oh,
I still can't really do them that great.
I learned them with a kettlebell. And
Did you?
Yeah, so it just had a little counterbalance. So that was kind of like I think that was a game changer for me.
Yeah.
You know, but just using a kettlebell and just punching it out, you know, that kind of thing.
So when you were learning, like say with the kettlebell,
Sure.
did you always do the same thing all the time, or did you try different things?
I mean, I did what I was taught, but then
Right.
you know, over time, you just start doing different things. You use a plate instead of a kettlebell. You know, like, and then then with just putting, using the shim for your
shim the
shim.
heel.
That's huge. The box is a game changer.
Where you can float your heel.
Yeah,
I agree.
because that just learns the mechanics. But the biggest thing, was just that counterbalance, being able to just pushing that hip back. That's what people go short. They just try and go down instead of going back.
When you guys are coaching, do you ever find that the people that vary, I know we give them a lot of options for progressions, that the people that vary what they do a little bit better?
Yes.
No, I mean, it's not a trick question. I'm serious.
Well, because
I know not always,
Yeah.
but I feel like sometimes
it keeps your mind in it, right?
Yeah, it keeps your mind in it. It makes it a little more fun. But also, if you do the same thing all the time, your body learns it, and then you get really good at, say, a box pistol. Like, there's people in the gym that are amazing at box pistols.
Sure.
Right? I mean, they get up there, they can see the confidence, and they know what it feels like, and they're great at it. But
it's
they
a
don't
progression, right?
Yeah. So I feel like it's a step along the way, but they get stuck on the cliff, and they're just like, I'm going to hang here because it's comfortable. Like the band on the pull-up.
Oh yeah.
Again,
but that sounds like an ego thing. Again, a lot of what you've been talking about today is all about like just kind of taking your ego out, which is a whole different lesson from CrossFit in general.
Definitely. Definitely. It's humbling to say, I'm not going to get above the bar maybe now. Maybe I'm going to do negatives down, or maybe I'm going to use less bands and I can't do as many reps or whatever. But that's very humbling to step back and say, like, hey, you know what? I can't do this yet, but I'm going to work towards it, and I will be able to do it.
That's life. You want artificial and surface gains, or do you want the real thing? Like, I hate to go that deep.
No, let's go that deep.
Scaling's about that. It's like, do you want to, A, survive for the next training day so you could get better, and B, actually develop your skill, or do you just want to say, like, I did it RX,
So I just read this great book that I gave to you.
Yeah.
Right? So
just a tip.
Just a tip. It's that's not the name of the book. It's called The Compound Effect. And it's by Darren Hardy, and it's a great book. If you haven't read it, there's also audio on it. But a lot of it is about just life. But a lot of it, he actually, I don't know if I told you this part, but he had worked out his whole life.
Okay.
So he refers to working out a lot in this book. And the one thing that resonates with me is it's all about making these small incremental changes, right? So he's saying, like, look, let's say you want to lose weight. People run out, and then what they do is they're like, man, I'm going to cut all my calories, and I'm just going to not eat, and I'm going to eat salads, I'm going to eat clean. And then how long does that last?
Like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. So what his theory is, and the compound effect is, well, you know what? He'll take a person and be like, you know what? Let's cut 100 calories out of your diet today. Then for a week, just 100 calories less. And next week, we're going to go 200 calories less. So he does his gradual, so you don't notice it kind of change, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with your fitness. He'll say, he was talking about like benching or deadlift or something, and he was like, guys try and make these big jumps, which is stuff we see all the time in the gym. You'll see somebody, and they'll get close to their PR on a heavy day, and they're like, man, I'm going to PR today. And then what do? They go from, let's say it's 250, they'll go to 275.
Yeah.
And their old PR was 250. And they make a big jump like that. And then they get upset and say, I can't make it, right? So the theory is trying to make these smaller jumps and maybe not reap as much of a reward right then and there. Like you're talking about, it's not instantaneous, but you still feel good about it when you're there. And then somebody says, man, how'd you get so strong all of a sudden? How'd you get so fit all of a sudden? How'd you get so skinny all of a sudden? It didn't happen all of a sudden. It was a gradual effect that happened.
Overnight success, a lifetime in the making, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, you look at somebody who, hits it big and you're like, man, he's just like, why did he get it?
Came out of nowhere.
Came out of nowhere. He didn't do anything, but they didn't see how many hours was he in his garage, in his basement, working his ass off. Same thing in the gym.
Yep.
Is how many times do we see people come in, and I know you both know some names that people have come in and they've trained 7 days a week, and they're amazing. And we look at them and we're like, there's a female, male, amazing talent, and you're just like, this person is amazing, but they're going to burn out.
Yeah.
No, totally. That's
because they don't take a rest day,
Sure.
or they're going too hard on themselves,
Sure.
or it's like they're trying to make these monumental jumps as opposed to just being okay with a little bit.
Yeah.
And what you two do really well is, I think you're both at a stage where you're like, hey, improvement's improvement.
Yeah.
Totally.
On anything.
Yeah,
I'll take it from anywhere. I'll take a
Not
second.
even greedy anymore,
No,
right?
not at all.
It is. It's funny. It does kind of. It levels it out. Like and it's okay if you're not the top number in the gym every single day.
No.
And it's just like at some point you're gonna have your day. And it's and it just revolves and like it just it's gone through like the cycle just like some days Justin's better than him, some days he's better than Justin, some days I'm in the middle of the between the two.
100%.
And it's the way it's been going on.
And I've seen that change over the years with all of you. But like, I mean, we've trained together. I've watched you, how you go up in numbers. I've trained with you. I see you, and like you guys, it's much more. It's a more, I don't want to say conservative because I don't want to take away from it, but it's a more thought out approach. Where I think before we all kind of were like just
throw it on.
like you get to you're
goes.
snatching and you get close to 200 and you're at like 190. You're like, let's go, instead of being like, let's go 195, then 200. We're just like, go for that 2, and then you get pissed when you miss the 2, and you're like, I don't understand.
But now I know I can hit 185 no matter when I get up to the bar. That's it.
And the thing I tell people is like, there's a reason why we have 1 1/4 plates.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like you can get a PR today and you probably won't even feel it. Like people don't get it. I mean, a 2-pound PR in like Olympic weightlifting world, like a kilo
Huge.
is huge. It's huge. It could be the difference between being on the podium and not on the podium. So like in the CrossFit world, a lot of times we get a little greedy about things and we want it a little harder. So those small changes and the small jumps go a long way. And every day our training's different. Like some days you come in, you feel great, and you're like, I'm going to hit it as hard as I can.
Yeah.
And then other days, man, I feel like garbage, and I'm like, I'm just trying to move to survive. My goal is to stay out of a nursing home. So like long term, like my goals have changed, It's just like, well, I just want to try and
Nursing home.
stay out of the nursing home.
You couldn't if they dragged you there.
Oh, I wouldn't fit in well. But
that's what I mean.
I don't know. I got 3 kids. They could just lock me up one day. So
I thought you had so many, so like the one of them would take
What
care
about?
of you.
I don't know. That's pretty bad.
But I think a lot of what you're saying,
You got
1 out of 3 is like, who gets the old man?
if you get one of them, you're a Hall of Famer in baseball.
That's true.
Batting 300.
That's true.
I was just a lot of what you're explaining though. I feel like is when you're early on in your CrossFit career, or you've been doing it how many years, man? Isn't it 7 or 8?
7, yeah.
Like I'm 5+. Like once you pass that first year or even 2 where you're hitting PRs all the time, you got to find something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people don't know, like, I mean, when you start, there's something called a beginner adaptation that happens, which is exciting, man. People think they're superheroes. They come in, they're just like, I went up 100 pounds, and it's just like, I look at them and I'm like, 100 pounds, dude, I'd be happy to go 2, it's like, you're like, and then they get bummed because the next time they only went up like 30 pounds, and I'm like, what is wrong with you, So it's like, it is like that superhuman feeling at first, and you kind of got to weed through that and be like, look, long-term longevity, what's my plan here? And then I try what I can with the programming, but really it's up to us as coaches and it's up to the client to say, hey, look, if you want something, whether it's a pull-up, double unders, whatever it is, or you want more weight on the bar or whatever, just be smart, make small steps, celebrate your steps. Like I can't tell you how many times I have to talk people down and say, hey, this is a good day. Like I understand now after doing this for a long time that I'm not really a coach. I'm a counselor.
Okay.
I don't mind that. I'm happy to do that. That's cool. But it's like a lot of times I just have to explain to people, you did awesome today.
Yeah.
And it's like, and they did. And like, I'm psyched for them. A lot of times I'm more psyched than they are. And they're all like, oh, I could have had this. I'm like, who cares? Like, You did great. You worked out. You're not on the couch. You don't have Doritos in your hand. That's a win.
Yes.
Then you lifted more weight than most humans can. I mean, yeah, I'll take that. I mean, people don't understand that what we do is kind of freakish, you know, and that it's relative, you know. I mean, you have to compare yourself not to like people that are, you know, you come in this gym and you look around, you could see some people doing some crazy stuff and be like, oh man, I'm horrible. But why don't you compare yourself to people that aren't doing anything and say, oh, I'm pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, I didn't know just like that, you know, and then you're going to totally relate. Is just like, I mean, people probably see us move and they'll see us move now and they'll be like, whoa, you know, like, just like, you know, like, how are they doing that? But they, like, the amount of time and just how much work it. So I explain, you know, when I go and I'll do a handstand push up, I'll be like, you know, and I'll go up and I'm like, you do this and then I'll be like, all right, I'm like, here's the deal. I came in this gym and I couldn't even do a handstand against the wall. I almost killed myself.
Do you remember that one qualifier we did together?
It's brutal. I
It had handstand push-ups in the workout.
Dude, like,
in the
crazy,
workout had
crazy,
handstand
you know,
push-ups.
But and I
Things page.
You all right? It's okay.
You know, so it was like one of those things. It's like, I think people just see us and they're like, "Wow," you know, like just like I was not born with that skill.
Nope.
In anything in my life, I've had to work very, very hard. You know, like for me to become like in the middle of the pack. You know?
And I think that's something that we all have very much in common.
Yeah,
is
sure.
none of us have come into anything and been like, "Yeah, this is mine. I'm natural."
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
if I did, I
everything I've
messed it
done.
up.
Yeah, right.
But
I didn't do it right.
But that's to your point. When you just have something naturally, you take it for granted 100%, and then you fuck it up.
And I've seen it over and over where people are like, the most gifted athletes don't have the work ethic that I see.
Sure.
Like, what I'm proud of in our gym is almost everybody in our gym, they're just hard workers because they have to be. And then you just get used to working that way, and everybody works that way, and then you're like, hey, you know, this is cool. It's like, this is the way it is. But like, I remember how hard you worked. And I mean, you know, the other day I did a rope climb and somebody's like, oh, you know, showing off or something because you can go up a one pole. I'm like, do you know how long it took me to get up the rope?
Just to learn how to
Just
do
to get up the rope, then to learn the technique, so I could teach it. It's like again, it's like the compound effect, right? It's like looking backwards to say, what did we do to get this? Is a long path. The way I learned butterfly pull-ups was every day in our old gym, I would walk down from my office and I would do 2 pull-ups on the way to get out to teach. And they were horrible. They were ugly. I'm glad there's no video of it. So, like, I had no idea how to do it. I would just, like, I would go 1, 2, and then come down. 1, 2, come down. And I did it every time I taught because I'm like, well, I teach like 5, 6 times a day. So if I do that every time, it's like I get a couple reps in. That's how I learned it. And then one day it clicked, and I was like, I got it. And then I was like, well, let's try that with muscle-ups. Let's try that with this. But it's like it's that constant day in, day out that's hard to do. So, like, when you come in for class, you're 15 minutes early, and you tell me that you want pull-ups more than life itself, and you're hanging out with a foam roller, like, I would say, what?
People want it within reason. And a lot of what we've done is outside of reason. Like,
yes, we're not very
you want to
reasonable.
muscle up? Like, you want to sit here every Saturday by yourself?
Yeah.
Like, in the gym? Like, those are things that I've done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I look around, like, no one's here.
No.
Like, and it's just me here.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to do that, you could have whatever you want, but you have to pay that price.
100%.
You know?
And if that's not that important to you, that's cool too.
Yeah.
You're still going to get a great workout, but those high-level modalities, when you see people do them, understand the work that went in behind it is intense.
Yeah.
I learned my first muscle up 9 o'clock at night in our first place next to Delicious Bagels. We still have the rings downstairs. It was before Rogue existed. Plastic gymnastic rings I had to buy online, mail order. Like,
Wow.
Mail
like,
order?
yeah.
What happened with Amazon? Was
Oh, man, no, Amazon.
Oh,
And like,
Free internet,
it
buddy.
clicked, and you know who high-fived me?
Who?
Me.
Yeah, you're like,
yeah, buddy.
And like, you couldn't tell anybody either because like nobody wants to hear that the coach got a muscle up. You know, it's like, so I mean, and I'm not comparing that to now. I'm just saying that like, if you want something really bad, like I've seen all of you work super hard over the years for it. You don't give up. That's it. You just got to work for it. And if you want help, the cool thing is we've all been through it, so we could be like, come to one of us and be like, hey, what do I need to do? And we'll say, go do X, Y, Z, point you in the right direction.
Accelerator,
But you
for
can't
sure.
help people. Oh my God, so much faster
Right.
now having the experience. But you can't make people work but you can point them in the right direction. And now we do have the tools, thank God, after going on 13 years, that we can say, hey, look, this is the step process. If you're willing to put in the work, you'll get it. But I mean, I don't think I've ever seen somebody where I'm like, you're never going to get that. I've never said that. I've never thought that for a minute, because it's not true. You can pretty much do anything you want. It's like, and people will surprise you and come in and work their asses off, and then all of a sudden they're doing things they never thought they could do. And I mean, I think that's what we're looking for.
That's the best part of it.
Yeah, that makes me happier than anything.
Yep. Agreed.
So we're going to wrap it up there. I'm going to try and keep it short, and hopefully you both come back again.
Sure,
talk a little bit more. We got a lot to talk about.
Yes.
We have a whole lot to talk about.
That's cool.
All right. Thanks a lot.